Hare Krishna, everybody. Welcome all of you for today's isopanishad session. Let us begin with prayers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Reading from the book Sri Ishopanishad by His Divine Grace Vishwaguru Abhay Charanaраvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Mantra 8. Saparyaga Shukramakayam Avranam Asnaviram Shuddhamapapa Vidham Kavirmanishi Paribhu Swayambhur Yatha Tatyatorthan Vyadada Shashvatebhyas Samabhyah. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Such a person must factually know the greatest of all, the personality of Godhead, who is unembodied, omniscient, beyond reproach, without veins, pure and uncontaminated, the self sufficient philosopher who has been fulfilling everyone's desire since time immemorial. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Here is a description of the transcendental and eternal form of the absolute personality of Godhead. The Supreme Lord is not formless. He has his own transcendental form, which is not at all similar to the forms of the mundane world. The forms of the living entities in this world are embodied in material nature and they work like any material machine. The anatomy of a material body must have a mechanical construction with veins and so forth, but the transcendental body of the Supreme Lord has nothing like veins. It is clearly stated here that he is unembodied, which means that there is no difference between his body and his soul. Nor is he forced to accept a body according to the laws of nature as we are. In materially conditioned life, the soul is different from the gross embodiment and subtle mind. For the Supreme Lord, however, there is never any such difference between him and his body and mind. He is the complete whole, and his mind, body, and he himself are all one and the same. In the Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, verse 1, there is a similar description of the Supreme Lord. He is described there as Satchidananda Vigraha, which means that he is the eternal form fully representing transcendental existence, knowledge, and bliss. As such, he does not require a certain body or mind as we do in material existence. The Vedic literature clearly states that the Lord's transcendental body is completely different from ours. Thus, he is sometimes described as formless. This means that he has no form like ours and that he is devoid of a form we can conceive of. In the Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, verse 32, it is further stated that with each and every part of his body, he can do the work of the other senses. This means that the Lord can walk with his hands, accept things with his legs, see with his hands and feet, eat with his eyes, etc. In the Shruti mantras, it is also said that although the Lord has no hands and legs like ours, he has a different type of hands and legs by which he can accept all that we offer him and run faster than anyone. These points are confirmed in the eighth mantra through the use of words like Shukram, omnipotent. The Lord's worshipable form, or Archa Vigraha, which is installed in temples by the authorized acharyas who have realized the Lord in terms of mantra 7, is non different from the original form of the Lord. The Lord's original form is that of Sri Krishna, and Sri Krishna expands himself into an unlimited number of forms such as Baladeva, Rama, Narasimha, and Varaha. All of these forms are one and the same personality of Godhead. Similarly, the Archa Vigraha worshipped in temples is also an expanded form of the Lord. By worshipping the Archa Vigraha, one can at once approach the Lord who accepts the service of a devotee by his omnipotent energy. The Archa Vigraha of the Lord descends at the request of the Acharyas, the holy teachers, and works exactly in the original way of the Lord by virtue of the Lord's omnipotence. Foolish people who have no knowledge of Sri Ishopanishad or of any other or of the other Shruti mantras consider the Archa Vigraha, which is worshipped by pure devotees, to be made of material elements. This form may be seen as material by the imperfect eyes of the foolish people or Kanishta Adhikaris, but such people do not know that the Lord, being omnipotent and omniscient, can transform matter into spirit and spirit into matter as he desires. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verses 11 to 12, the Lord regrets the fallen condition of men with little knowledge who deride him because he descends like a man into this world. Such poorly informed persons do not know the omnipotence of the Lord. Thus, the Lord does not manifest himself in full to the mental speculators. He can be appreciated only in proportion to one's surrender to him. The fallen condition of the living entities is due entirely to forgetfulness of their relationship with God. In this mantra, as well as in many other Vedic mantras, it is clearly stated that the Lord has been supplying goods to the living entities from time immemorial. A living being desires something, and the Lord supplies the object of that desire in proportion to one's qualification. If a man wants to be a high court judge, he must acquire not only the necessary qualifications, but also the consent of the authority who can award the title of high court judge. The qualifications in themselves are insufficient for one to occupy the post. It must be awarded by some superior authority. Similarly, the Lord awards enjoyment to living entities in proportion to their qualifications. But good qualifications in themselves are not sufficient to enable one to receive awards. The mercy of the Lord is also required. Ordinarily, the living being does not know what to ask from the Lord, nor which post to seek. When the living being comes to know his constitutional position, however, he asks to be accepted into the transcendental association, into the transcendental association of the Lord in order to render transcendental loving service unto him. Unfortunately, living beings under the influence of material nature ask for many other things, and they are described in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 41, as having divided or splayed intelligence. Spiritual intelligence is one, but mundane intelligence is diverse. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 5, verses 30 to 31, it is stated that those who are captivated by the temporary beauties of the external energy forget the real aim of life, which is to go back to Godhead. Forgetting this, one tries to adjust things by various plans and programs, but this is like chewing what has already been chewed. Nonetheless, the Lord is so kind that he allows the forgetful living entity to continue in this way without interference. Thus, this mantra of Sri Ishopanishad uses the very appropriate word yatha tatyataha, indicating that the Lord rewards the living entities just in pursuance of their desires. If a living being wants to go to hell, the Lord allows him to do so without interference. And if he wants to go back home, back to Godhead, the Lord helps him. We will read the last part of the purport in the next session. We will discuss these points. So from yesterday, we began discussion about Mantra 8 of Ishopanishad. And yesterday, we saw the meanings of each and every word used in this mantra. Each word used in this mantra is describing the characteristics of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Ishvara. So, here it is said the Supreme Lord has no material body, he is unembodied, whereas we are embodied souls currently. That means we have accepted a material body under the influence of material energy. Accepting body means to identify ourselves with the body. So we have identified ourselves with this body. That means we think we are this body. And the moment we get the material body, it means we are under the stringent laws of material nature. Srila Prabhupada says, he gives an example. When a when a person who has committed sinful activities has been convicted in the court, he will be given imprisonment for a certain number of years. He should be living in the prison house. As soon as he enters the prison house, the first thing that is given to him is the prison uniform. So, as the moment he gets the prison uniform, it means that now he is part of the prison house. He will be subjected to various punishments because of his criminal activities in the prison house. That means he is now under the laws of the prison house. In the same way, the moment we come to this material world, desiring to enjoy independent of Krishna, the first thing that Maya Devi gives us is this prison dress called the material body. So our material body is the prison dress. And there are 84 lakh varieties of prison uniforms, 84 lakh species of life. Based on the desire of every living entity, how exactly he wants to enjoy independent of Krishna, there are 84 lakh varieties. And these are all manufactured by the three modes of material nature. So, the moment we accept this material body, it means we have come under the stringent laws of material nature. So, how does material nature control our life? Material nature controls us through this material body and material mind, the gross body and the subtle body. So, as long as we have got this gross body and subtle body, we are under the influence, control of material nature. Now, this is not applicable for the Lord because the Lord never accepts material bodies. The Lord comes to this material world in his original spiritual form. Krishna has confirmed this in the Bhagavad Gita, where he says in the fourth chapter, Sambhavami Atma Mayaya. Sambhavami means I descend as I am by my own internal potency. Krishna never comes under the influence of the external potency or Maya, material energy. Even when he comes to this material world, Krishna is free from the laws of material nature. This has to be understood very carefully. So, when we say that Krishna is unembodied, that means he has no material body, even when he comes to the material world. He comes in his original Satchidananda Vigraha form. That means he is never subjected to the laws of material nature. Krishna never goes through birth, death, old age, and disease like us. Srila Prabhupada explains when Krishna was speaking Bhagavad Gita on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he was quite old by material calculations. He was more than 100 years old. Now, but his form was not at all depicting old age. You know, generally when people become old, they have white hair, they there are wrinkles on their face, they become weak, body becomes weak. But all such symptoms of old age was not visible in the personality of Godhead in Krishna when he was speaking Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So this shows that Krishna is beyond material laws and he does not accept a material body like us. And as we discussed yesterday, specifically it is pointed out in this verse that the Lord is Asnaviram, that means he has no veins in his body. So, as we discussed yesterday, we have blood vessels which carry blood from one part of the body to another part of the body. So, this is a mechanical arrangement within our material body. Just like there are wires inside a huge machine, but this kind of mechanical arrangement does not exist within the Lord's transcendental body, right? There is no material elements like bones, blood, or any of these elements within the Krishna's transcendental form. Hmm? So there are no veins mentioned. It is mentioned here. Krishna has no veins. That means he has no blood, flesh, all these things inside his body. Now somebody may ask this question. It is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam first canto that when Bhishma Deva was shooting arrows towards Arjuna's chariot, Bhishma was also shooting arrows at Krishna, and Krishna's body also got wounded. There was blood coming out of Krishna's body. It is described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Then how can we say that Krishna's body has no blood and veins? How do we understand this? The answer to this question is Bhishma Deva was relating with Krishna in the specific rasa called Virya Rasa, the rasa of chivalry, chivalrous rasa, Virya Rasa. So, for the sake of this Virya Rasa, Krishna, he displayed blood spots and wounds on his body. So, this is very interesting. Krishna reciprocates with his devotees exactly how they wish to relate with him. Since Bhishma Deva was a military man, he was a warrior, he was a commander, he was a pure devotee, a Mahajana, and he was specifically having relationship with Krishna on the platform of Virya Rasa, and he was fighting with Krishna and Arjuna. So to satisfy the Virya Rasa reciprocation with Bhishma Deva, the Lord displayed blood. When Bhishma's arrows were piercing the armor of Krishna, blood was coming out. But that was only a display by the Lord for the Virya Rasa exchange between the Lord and Bhishma Deva. That does not prove that the Lord has got material body. This has to be carefully understood. So it may appear that what Ishopanishad is saying, that the Lord has no veins and blood, and what Bhagavatam is saying, Krishna displayed blood on his body when Bhishma Deva shot arrows. These two things are contradictory. It may appear to us like that, but we have to understand it with the proper guidance from the authorities. So this is the answer to this is, as we discussed, by understanding the rasa exchange between the Lord and his devotees, we can reconcile the contradictions that we saw. Now, the second point that Prabhupada mentions here in this purport is that the Lord's body is different from our body. The Lord is not formless. Why in some parts of the Vedic scriptures it is described that the Lord is Nirakara? Now, it is in some places the Lord is described as Nirakara. Nirakara means formless. So, is he having Akara or is he Nirakara? What is the understanding? We are worshipping a form of the Lord, Krishna, two-handed Muralidhara, Shamasundara form. But some parts of the Vedic scriptures say that the Lord is Nirakara. Why this contradiction? The answer to this question is, wherever it is said that the Lord is Nirakara, it means that the Lord has no material Akara. See, there are two ways of understanding something or some object or some person. One is called positive definition, the other one is called negative definition. Understanding by positive definition means to describe the characteristics of that person or object positively, right? For example, if a person is well built, if a person is strong, having a good stout body, we say he is a powerful man. It is a positive definition. He is a powerful man, right? If a person is very rich, he has a lot of money, we say he is a wealthy man. This is a positive definition. Now, there is a negative definition also, another way of understanding, right? When we say he is a wealthy man, what is a negative way of saying it? He has no poverty. He has no shortage of wealth. He has no shortage of money or resources. That is the negative definition of understanding the same person. Or the strong man, we can say he is not lean, he is not skinny. This is a negative definition. That means any particular object or person can be defined either positively by listing their actual qualities or negatively by saying that he does not have these qualities. Now, in the Vedic scriptures, you will find description of both positive definition, understanding of God, and negative definition of understanding of God. So, wherever the scriptures are saying the Lord is Nirguna, it means he has no material qualities. Wherever the scriptures are saying he is Nirakara, it means he has no material akara, material form. This is the meaning. So he has no material form, that does not mean he has no spiritual form. The same scriptures elsewhere are saying the Lord is Sachidananda Vigraha. Vigraha means form. He has got a form. So he has got a spiritual form and he has not got a material form. That is the understanding. Nirguna means he has no material qualities which are influenced by the three gunas, whereas he has his spiritual qualities. He has his transcendental qualities. 64 prominent transcendental qualities of Krishna are listed by Srila Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Devotion. So, this is the understanding. So, wherever it is said that the Lord is formless, it means he has no form like ours, like our material bodies. Now, an example for this is cited in the in the Brahma Samhita to show that how the Lord has no material form. There it is said in the 33rd shloka, 32nd shloka of the 5th chapter of Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma says, Anganiyasya sakalendriya vritti manti pashyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti. So there it is said, the meaning of this is Angani yasya sakalendriya vritti mantihi. Every part of Krishna's body can do the work of every other part. This shows that the Lord's form is not like ours. Our forms, in our body, there are different organs. Every organ has a particular function, well defined function. You cannot swap the functions of one organ with the other organ. For example, with our eyes, we can only see, we cannot eat. With our hands, we can write, or with our legs, we can walk. We cannot write. Whereas the Lord's body is not like that. Lord's spiritual form, every part of the Lord's body can do the function of every other part. Angani yasya sakalendriya vritti manti. Every anga of the Lord's body can do the function of sakala indriya, all the other senses. That is why if you just offer food stuff with love and devotion, keep it in front of the Lord, just by casting his glance at the foodstuff, the Lord eats. So his eating is not material like ours. Lord simply gazes at the foodstuff and through his eyes he accepts. So this is the omnipotency of the Lord. This we have to understand. Now the next point that is explained here is about the Archa Vigraha, Prabhupada explains. The deity that is worshipped in the temple, it is installed in the temple. When the bona fide Acharya calls the Lord to come and reside in the deity, the Lord accepts the invitation made by the pure devotee, and the Lord comes and resides in the deity. and he accepts services from his devotees. Now, this Archa Vigraha, we should know that it is same as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is an expansion of the Lord. So, when you offer flowers to the deity in the temple, it means you're directly offering flowers to the Supreme Lord who is seated in the spiritual world. There is no difference. So, this is the omnipotency of the Lord. Somebody may ask, how is it possible? This deity is made up of material elements. It is made up of wood or stone or something like that, metal. I'm able to see the wood or stone or metal. How are you saying that Lord is there? This is Lord. The answer to this question is everything is possible for the Lord because both matter and spirit are His energies. At His will, He can convert matter into spirit and spirit into matter. It is possible. This is the omnipotency of the Lord. In fact, this Archa Vigraha is called the Karuna Avatara, mercy incarnation of the Lord. Because in our current situation, we can only see, touch, and feel material objects. The Lord mercifully has entered the material deity so that we can see Him, we can decorate Him, we can serve Him. This is the mercy incarnation of the Lord. So that is the understanding. But those who are imperfect eyes, those who are not having right understanding, they will only see the deity to be metal or wood or stone. But when we see through the jnana chakshu, through the eyes of knowledge given in the scriptures, we can understand that the Lord is so merciful, He has come in this deity form for my sake to accept service from me so that I can become purified by seeing Him, by having His darshan, by accepting prasada that is offered to the deity. So, this is the mercy of the Lord. Now, in the next part, Prabhupada writes, quoting a verse from the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, Avajananti mam modha manushim tanumashvitaha param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Avajananti, Krishna is regretting actually in this shloka the fallen condition of the people in this material world. Krishna has come for our sake. He comes to this material world as an avatara and performs activities. He leaves behind his instructions in the Bhagavad Gita. But the people of this world, they think that he is an ordinary person because he is looking like a human being with two hands, one head and one leg, two legs, one body, like a human body, it is looking. Therefore, people think he is an ordinary human being. But this is wrong. So, such people are called mudha. Mudha means foolish. Foolish people miscalculate the Lord to be an ordinary human being when he mercifully descends to this material world. They don't know what is the actual position of the Lord. Actually, it is not that some philosophers say that human beings have created a human like form for God. So they say that since we are all human beings, we have assumed that God also has a human form. So they say God has no form, but human beings have given this form, human like form to God. They have imagined this form. It's an imaginary form. Like this, some philosophers say. This is called anthropomorphism. Anthropomorphism means it is a concept where people think that because we are human beings, we have given a human like form to God. But this is not correct. Srila Prabhupada says, we have not given a human like form to Krishna. Krishna has given a form similar to his own form to all the human beings because human beings are the most advanced among all the creation. So Krishna has given a form similar to his own form to all of us. And Prabhupada also quotes from the Bible and says, man is born in the image of God. We are born in the image of God. God has not accepted a form like humans. Humans have been given a form similar to that of Krishna. This is the right understanding. So people who are not properly guided by a bona fide spiritual master, they do not understand the omnipotence of the Lord. So therefore, they think that when the Lord comes to this material world, he is an ordinary person. He has become an ordinary person. He has become one among us. Again, Prabhupada gives elsewhere an example. When the president of the country visits the jail, prison house to inspect, to see what is happening inside the jail, some of the prisoners will start thinking, oh, see, the president has come to this jail. That means president also has become a prisoner. He has also become one among us. Like this, the prisoners miscalculate. But actually, the president has come by his own will, whereas all the other prisoners have been forced to live in the jail because they have broken the laws of the state. This we have to understand. President is not coming into the prison house because he has become criminal. He is just coming on his own to inspect, to see whether everything is happening properly in the prison house. In the same way, we have all come to this material world because we are forced by the laws of nature to accept different material bodies. Whereas when Krishna or his avatars or his pure devotees, acharyas, when they come to this material world, they don't come because they are forced by the laws of nature. They come on their own will. The Lord comes by his own will, and the pure devotees who are confidential associates of the Lord from the spiritual world, they come to this material world on the direct order of Krishna to preach Krishna consciousness to the prisoners, to the conditioned souls in this material world. So, therefore, we should not think that Krishna, because he looks like a human being, he's an ordinary person. No, that is a wrong understanding that only shows our fallen condition by which we think that God is also one among us. So, we will continue to discuss. There are many more interesting points Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport. We will read that and continue to discuss in our next session. Thank you very much for joining. Shri Ishopanishad ki jai, Vishwa Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhupada.